Right, Hans Themistode, FightHype.com, here with Andre Rozier. How you feeling, man?
What the deal, nephew? You know, I've just been in this gym here. Today's been a busy day. Been working with the guys. We have some upcoming events, Richard Commey, Luis Nunez, Brandon Lynch. We have some guys getting ready to rock.
Gotcha. Now, we wanted to talk to you about another guy that you are training, and Danny Jacobs. It's rumored that he could possibly be fighting Jermall Charlo. What do you kind of think about that matchup, man?
Well, that bout is a long time coming. They have a history. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that that bout was spoken about for years now, and I'd love to see it actually take place.
Do you think it's the right time for it to happen, though?
Well, Charlo's been off for 2 years. I hear a lot of people saying things that they just don't understand about boxing. 2 years is a long time. You're not going to just jump back into the fire pit or the lava pot and burn yourself up. You got to get that rust off. You got to get back on track. Give them a chance to reset and get right.
I know you're Danny's trainer, so you're going to always back him, but how exactly do you see that fight playing out? What are some things that you see in Charlo that makes you say, okay, I do have to make sure Danny's prepared for X, Y, and Z?
Well, everybody knows that both the Charlo brothers, they work off of really sharp jabs. Their basics are clean and fundamental. Jab, right hand, left, body, and they do it well. I have to make sure that Danny is prepared to jab with the jabber and utilize his capabilities, his athleticism, to show the world that he's not just a champion in recess or a comfortable fighter. Mm-hmm. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. I mean, Danny is about 35, 36 right now. But I know you've worked with him forever. Do you feel like he's still at the top of his game? Do you still feel like he's sharp as he can be?
Well, I feel he can be. He can be. When I work with him in the gym, I know that he shows the ability to be sharp again. It's just him getting in really good shape and focusing.
Is that the perfect fight for you guys right now to take next? I know he's coming off the John Ryder loss. Would you kind of prefer to see him fight a Charlo fight? Because that'll be a huge fight, man.
Oh, it would be a great fight, but I know it won't happen initially at this point. Charlo's going to have to get some work to loosen up, and Danny should get a bout to loosen up also.
Gotcha. Now, I kind of just want to shift gears a little bit. Just want to get your prediction on the fight that's just become official on May 7th. Stephen Fulton versus Naoya Inoue, supposed to be in Japan. How do you see that fight playing out, and who are you leaning towards?
Well, my thing is I like the bigger guy. I always like the bigger guy. If you coming up to meet a guy that has controlled the environment for so long, you're going to have some things to deal with. So I think Stephen really has a good shot at controlling his environment.
Would you? Because I know I've heard you say in the past that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Inoue is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, right?
Yes.
So, are those extra 4 pounds that he'll be moving up? Are they a lot?
They make a difference. Inoue is not a really big super bantamweight. So he's coming up. He came from 115. So he's almost like 10 pounds above his original weight class. So it's going to be some things to see. We have to see if he can carry his punching capability up another weight class. Speed, agility, tenacity, all of these things are question marks. And solid question marks when he's getting in there with someone of the caliber of a unified champion in Stephen Fulton.
If you had to give anybody the smallest edge, who would it be?
I'd have to say Fulton. He's the bigger guy.
Gotcha. Kind of wanted to shift gears. Huge fight coming up in about 2 to 3 weeks. Actually, it's on the same day as when Richard fights
Right.
Jose Ramirez, and Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez.
Right.
How do you see that fight playing out? Boxer, puncher, pure boxer. How do you see that fight playing out, man?
It's going to be a really, really interesting fight. I think that each man has to totally control the ring with their attributes and abilities. Caleb is going to have to be very, very articulate with his jab and control the canvas with his feet. And Benavidez is going to have to be Benavidez. He has to be a whirlwind of pressure and combinations.
Who do you give the edge to in that one?
I happen to like the bigger guy, so that would definitely be Benavidez. But I believe it's a really, really challenging and tough fight.
Question for you: when it comes to a fight that's really, really close, Benavidez hasn't been in. I'll put it like this: Caleb Plant has been in the ring with Canelo. That's as big as it gets.
Right.
When you get to that level, can those nerves of being on the big stage already, like, does that play a factor?
Well, any big fight is a big fight, regardless of the fact. So Caleb had the experience of being in one of the biggest arenas when it comes to the #1 box office draw with Canelo. So this is tantamount to being very big, but not nearly as big as that one was. But he handled it well until, of course, Canelo caught up to him. So I think he's ready for it. I think his mentality is ready for it, and it's going to be a tough fight. I see the one thing that is bothering me a bit is the extra energy that David has been presenting. I think he should just concentrate on boxing. Don't worry about the name calling and all the extracurricular energy that's going out. I met the Benavidez in Phoenix when he fought Lemieux, and that's when Lewis was on the opening bout of that card for television, and they seem like the most kind and considerate and low-key people. I honestly was like, I said, I have to call them to find out what happened. Maybe, I don't know. You just can't get caught up in an emotional turmoil like that. And I really honestly believe they are good people. They just seem to be caught up for a minute. And whenever I get a chance to speak to them, I'll tell them that.
Gotcha. And just lastly, do you feel like all the extracurricular activity, because David has been very demonstrative, extremely, I guess I want to say out there and just making it known, like, yeah, I want to kind of KO Caleb Plant. He was saying in 6 rounds or less, and Caleb has just been kind of chill and relaxed. Do you think that could play more in favor of Caleb Plant?
Well, it can because if you're focused so much on one thing, you don't see the whole picture, and that's a problem. So I'd like to see him concentrate more on the fact of coming in, putting on a great performance, and winning the bout. I know he comes to work, which I do love about him. He's coming to get you. But we all know that already. You don't have to speak about it. We already know it.
Gotcha.
And that extra anger and resentment and just negative energy doesn't always play well.
Gotcha.
So if he could return to that David that I met in Phoenix, Arizona, I think he'd be right on time.
Gotcha. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.